Another one. Another. Another. Another instance. When a purpose is not known, abuse becomes inevitable. Now, this statement is generally attributed to Dr. Miles Moreau of blessed memory. You know, everything you see around us, they are built or they are designed for specific tasks and purpose. And obviously, if you don't understand the operational procedure, if you don't understand how it works, you might end up abusing it. Yeah, it doesn't really matter whether you buy these things very expensive or cheap. Two things always comes in at the end of the day. Either you optimize what is being installed or you abuse. I'll be real quick actually because there are like 30 different technologies I want to share. You know, it might not be new, but for you who is just watching this for the first time, it might be something new, right? I have Loop Element. I have Loop Element is a standalone software from gospel producers. This is one of the tools that is in use in our current modern day Christian contemporary music. It's an effective loop element for any kinds of worship, praise, and maybe music performance. So it's a handy tool for a producer, for a drummer, and other performer. So I'm going to talk in a bit about this. So I currently have loop elements in the system. So let me just open up. So you can see this very well. Everything is routed to this console through USB, right? But the communication happens in MIDI protocol. Yeah, in MIDI protocol. Now, what I just did isn't available anywhere. I mean, you might go to beringa.com to Wings, right? You might not see this. Now, God on daily basis loads you and I with benefit, with concept, with ideas, right? That maybe in ignorance, you might be implementing what is in your heart, but you don't know that these are God-given ideas. So, which explains why when something is deposited into your spirit, the moment you procrastinate, God will actually have mercy upon you over a period of time. You see that same ideas, that same thoughts in your heart, in your very eye, will be implemented through another person. And I tell you, if it happens once, twice, and it becomes a pattern, that streams of knowledge, channels through which God communicates to you will be cut off. So I'm speaking to you right now that you have songs, but you feel it's not good enough. I'll not say much, right? But go and read the parable of talent. I'm sure God will speak to you. All right, let us come to what we have today. So, like I was saying, that loop element, the communication between the computer and Behringer Wing is via USB. Again, it obeys the rules of MIDI protocol, right? So I found a way of assigning each of the faders to the loop element software. Again, if you want to know, just pay a visit. I'm going to share with you as long as you have profit offering right there. I was just kidding. All right, so everything happened through MIDI protocol. And so there's an interface on the loop element that you have to configure, right? So because we connected this through MIDI, right? So some a wing MIDI ports pops up that needed authentications and assignment. So that's the gateway through which we allow external devices to be connected. And on the console too, there's a place, right, that we need to accept. We need to enable USB custom control. Yeah, simply put, CC. So custom control for transmission and reception of MIDI communications, right? So whatever I am doing is actually transmitting triggers to the loop element standalone software, which the audio is also routed back to the console through a specific channel. You might wonder, how on earth did I know that this works? Like I say, God deposits thoughts in you. It's channels, and the moment you obey, more will be coming to you, as long as you don't procrastinate. And that's exactly what is happening with me, right? So the loop element has 8 banks of fader that you can assign anything. Like I was saying before, loop elements is built for modern day Christian contemporary music. It's one of the effective tools for live performance. It is for live performance, for spontaneity. So recently I was talking about loop past loop. It was not actually recently. That video you just saw was shot in Malawi in 2022. So I spoke about a lot of things there. But one of the fascinating things in the video is when I talked about loop past loop, right? Even God is not really happy with your creativity level. The originator of that loop has stopped using that loop for a long time, but a lot of us still grasp that loop. And I don't know whether it is a norm, right, in so many churches. When it is time for praise and worship, the first thing you will hear first is the loop, bah! Before everybody will start dancing. All right, so there are different classification of components used in this loop. So we have basic drum kit like kick, snare, hi-hat. So we have percussions. This is some element that has been modulated in the conga family, and some little stuff like sticks and all that. So we have groups of shaker, tambourine, clap. So they're also part of the loop element, loop component. Then we have effects, punches, and maybe risers. Yes, there's just somewhere there. And then we have some deluxe of special edition that makes this loop element legendary. So there are some stuff that we are designed together as elements. And so all what I just mentioned now can be assigned in any fader. They can be assigned in any fader. So for instance, this channel 1 has kick, right? And that's what you're hearing right now. Then the second channel is hi-hat. So as you can see, or as you can hear, there's some element of reverb. It's because I send some effects so that it's not completely dry. I can take it off actually. I can take it off. So maybe this is fine. So let me give it a bit of room, just little of the room. Just little. Now it's too much. This is too much. All right, so let's just say, sorry, it's actually kind of distracting me right now. Let me just take it off on kick. All right, so then we have conga is on the third channel. It might not just be conga, like I said, a conga but modulated to give you this kind of synthetic sound. But of course, it's component of loop design. Then the fourth one falls under category of elements. Like it's a special spice sauce that was cooked as elements. So track 5 or channel 5 also has some effects. It falls under category of effects like hey, 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 hey. Or so I can choose to make it wide. You can choose to make it dry or make it wet in the mix. For instance, let me just combine 4 faders together. Obviously, this is much. All right, so that's it. So the sixth also has some elements. Of course, there are reverbs. They can still dial if you want, but I don't want this. So the 7th is snare drum. A very fat, low pitch snare that also has clap together. So 2 is happening simultaneously. So they are sampled as snare. So it's on channel 7. And then we have some element as well on 8. So let me just push everything together so that I can have a feel of the whole loop. So this is it. Kindly bear in mind that the sound you're hearing now is real time. The output of this mix is connected to a sound card, and that's where the smartphone got its feed from. So whatever I'm doing is real. In fact, just to make sure I have precision in the mix, that's why I'm hearing this. I'm wearing this so that whatever I hear here is also what is being captured on the video. All right, so this is what we have. Loop element, like I said, on this video has 8 channels. There's a combination of basic drum kit elements like kick, snare, hi-hat. So we have FX, we have percussive loop still in the channels. Then we have basic elements that we use. So you might not be able to translate this. Of course, that's element. So in the modern CCM, you might be hearing more of this sound. You might be hearing more of this sound. So now what I want to do is to filter out like 4 different components of this loop. First of all, let me just filter out the drum kit element, which is on channel 1, channel 2, and channel 7. So we have this sound. This is actually used when we don't have drums. That this kind of pattern is required as an accompaniment of a piece. So this is just basic drum. There's no overhead, there's no toms, it's just, like I said, loop. So this is going on repeatedly. So this is one of the effects. So let's just pull up percussions, right? So this was actually deliberate. I was the one that boosted the low end of this percussion. So you can as well reduce the low end if it's distracting. You can. Sorry. I think this is better. All right, so let's move on to elements. So we have elements on channel 4, channel 6, and channel 8 as follows. Channel 4, channel 6, and channel 8. Okay, so there's something I just want to say real quick. Academically, a lot of us have attained to some unimaginable height of education. Some are doctors, some are professors, some has reached the pinnacle of their career, yes, academically. But then, do you know that in real life scenario, a lot of us are still in the nursery school? Why do I have to say this? There were some things that we learned in the past just for the purpose of us scoring high grade and maybe winning our scholarship and maybe making our parents so proud. Yeah, it didn't mean anything to us back then in those days, right? Just for the purpose of us scoring high grades and possibly going to the best schools of our choice. That was it. But do you know that in our current time, there are some things that if your son or your daughter should bring to you, maybe from nursery 1 for you to solve, you will first of all pause for a minute and think about the logic in that question, right? Before you solve. Now, imagine the kind of what they are subjecting our children. Maybe you're a caretaker, a guidance, or you are taking care of someone, right? That is cool. I'm not even talking about primary school, but I'm referring to nursery school. Some of these things seems to be a bit hard. You have to use your logic before you solve. That's why in those days, you might get some questions like, kindly simplify these mathematical problems. Now, in our life, there are life straining issues. There are life logical problems or challenges that will involve our whole being to solve. And you see that some basic logic that you have learned in school, if you can only think about those things, problems are solved. So why am I saying this? We have a concept known as permutations and combinations. And of course, most of you may have been hearing me in my videos. Now, when you want to talk about some component of logical reasoning, you can reason in forms of these permutations and combination. So in the world of permutations and combination, it opens you up to possibilities, to so many ways of achieving different types of result. Do you know that in your fields alone, there might be, let's just say, 100 billion trillions ways of solving a problem or fixing solutions. So out of 100, for instance, 100 billion trillions ways, you only knew maybe 4 or 5, and you are very comfortable in this little. And that's why we are always caged. We are always limited in understanding. We're always limited. Like I said earlier on, when a purpose of a thing is not known, abuse becomes inevitable. Imagine me using Behringer Wing today in connecting loop element through MIDI, and at the same time, I'm passing audio that you can see. And at the same time, I am sending the output of this wing to this smartphone, and that's why the audio is making sense to you right now. Whatever you're going to watch or whatever you're watching right now did not go through or is not going to go through any post-production. It is just real the way it is. I am publishing it. So what am I saying? We have 8 channels here. This loop element has permutations and combination that you can actually create several loops types from just this one instance. Now, if you're going to get your calculator now and punch permutations of 8 numbers without repetition, it's going to give you something that is way more than maybe 10,000 possibilities. Maybe you can just try it on your calculation. What is the permutations of 8 numbers without repeating the sequence? So you might be surprised at what you are getting. So whatever you get now is possibility that is happening here, right? When you are combining 8 numbers. Although in this instance, we might not get up to this possibility because when you have one instance, when you have one instance like this, like when you have one instance, so this is just kick playing. Let me combine this kick with another element. Let's say, let me combine it with something from channel 8. So I'm going to get this. So can you see now? It's giving me a pattern that's going to be different from when I take this 8 down and combine it with 2. So this is another pattern, you see. So when you reason like this, you're going to optimize every goddamn thing that is given to you. Now this is instant number 3, right? So we have 4, 5, 6. Like I say, permutation without repetition. This is 7. This is 8. So, and in all this sequence, there are different, the sound is different because you are combining existing element but in different combination. Now, when you combine this with another element, now this is 9. Now, when you remove snare drum and put another thing, so you can see this is another sound, another one, another, another instance. So let me do 3 things within 20 seconds. So you can see that we will have different pattern and sequence in sound in how the loop is sounding. So when I combine 1, 2, and 7, it gives me basic drums. Yeah. So let me just push on 3 alone. It gave me percussion from the same loop. Remember, this is just one instance of loop we didn't change it. Everything is happening real time. So let me just say I'm combining this conga with hi-hat and FX, which is on 5. So we have this. This is another. So let me just combine element alone. So we have element on 4, 6, and 8. All right, let me just add conga. So everything. So in summary, you are a keyboardist. I am challenging you right now. Yep. You force your pastor to buy that North stage. You were previously using motive. You said the world has gone past the use of motive 8. It's okay. I want to join them. I did let it add to my library of gadgets, right? Because you're a gadget guy. And so every time you climb that North stage, it is just one patch. And the only time you have time for that key is Sunday. After service, you go back to your normal life. I tell you, even God is not happy. He's not going to be happy with you. So, like I say, go back to the parable of talent, read it very well, and allow the Holy Spirit to interpret it to you. You will understand what you are missing and how you are provoking God to anger, because his resources is being wasted because you choose to just use that one stuff without any profit, right? So just try and explore that North stage. One of the reasons why we have North stage very expensive, more expensive than montage, is because there are a lot of hidden things inside. Again, like I say, for the modern CCN music, try as much as possible to maybe structure the way you are going to dissect or learn these things. We just learned about permutation in its peripheral form, right? You can create almost limitless instance when you combine stuff from maybe one patch alone. It is very possible. It is very, very possible. So explore these things. When you listen to music, you can score sound out of what you're listening. Like I said, it is not just pattern that you might just play or chord progression, but the attitude of whoever you are scoring from should be part of what you want to become when you are going to play that piece, right? It is not by mistake that there is touch sensitivity and there is touch response on keys. That is there to control your attitude, to control your temperament. That part of it too needs to be scored. So you have been playing North stage for the past 3 years. Now, when they ask you how far, it is what you knew 3 years ago that is still here. No new thing, at least for someone that is seeing you, they have not noticed any new thing. As you keep on playing that North stage, it's also depreciating. So at the end of the day, you move from there to the latest keys in town. This is no good at all. There are so much. Like I say, it's not in the sophistication of a gadget, right? But it is in how well you see the end of a thing. Let's assume that you explore that North stage even to the end of it. You can actually write notes to the team that is developing North stage to add this upgrade in their next firmware. So now we are talking. So you are this person that is very dynamic. You can, let me just add some loop element as I'm talking. So you can do so much. You can do so much. You can do so much. God inhabits praises of his people. When you don't sing, but you play, that in itself is worship. That in itself is what? Praise. Because your spirit and your soul is being felt by the congregation when you press the keyboard. So it's not that keyboard that is blessing life, but it's the spirit in man that is going out there, that precedes, that travels in a speed that is faster than light, that affects life. So keep on the good work of exploring, of developing yourself, and please don't be rigid. Don't be rigid and say, no, this is how I used to play. Now there's one annoying thing that I face also. I met somebody in Abuja recently. So they were scoring Kev Franklin's song. So the guy said no, that he's going to just play one part. That part that is always there on montage 8. Yeah, when you press it's just there, like that kind of, you know what I'm saying. So that kind of pad. So say, yeah, that's what he's going to play because because he has been playing that, I should use it to sound check. I told him, guy, you should be Kev Franklin keyboardist now. So what I need for you is to listen to the mix, to the sound reference, and score the patches. Unfortunately for him, it was some synth that they vamp into the song. So I forced him. So the guy, maybe he just feared me. He didn't want me to talk further. He played it, and immediately I left that place, he returned back to his part. And that guy is elderly actually. Right? So for how long can you dwell on that one part? The sound in montage alone they are in billions. They are in billions, right? Everything you see there is just preset. Now, user can customize permutations and combinations of the existing sound into another sound that is more than 100 billion trillions different sound. So we have those sounds for you to explore. To be continued.